How you doing, YouTube? Today we're back with a brand new video. Today's video I'm going to speak about pricing work, and this is about the 5th time that I've shot this video because I keep sort of rambling on, but I'm going to try to keep this relatively brief. So if you have a look down the playlist here on YouTube, you'll see that I've actually made a video before, and it's probably one of my most requested videos is to do a how to price work video, and obviously because it's behind so many videos now, people probably aren't seeing it, and I've actually had a few people that's reached out to me personally through Facebook and in the comments and stuff that asked me to do sort of in-depth how to price work. So first of all, what I'll do, I'm going to go through a few different ways of how plasters get paid. So we're going to do that there, but first we're going to talk about why it's sort of this big taboo. There's a hell of a lot of plasterers out there that don't like telling their apprentices or the people that work for them how much they earn, or how to price work. It's all sort of like a big secret thing, and I'm not 100% sure about all trades, but I can say in plastering 100% that's the way, that's the experience that I've had. I was lucky that I'm sort of a generational plasterer, so my father plastered, his father plastered, his father plastered. It's sort of like a handed down thing. So my dad taught me basically everything I needed to know, including how to price work, how to deal with contractors, all that sort of stuff. But not everybody is that lucky. Not everybody has somebody to tell them sort of how to price work, and I think it's a good idea to sort of do a video and try to explain how best sort of the price your work. The mentality the plasters have, again, as I say, maybe other trades, it makes no sense to me. Honestly, I feel like you're sort of, you're doing yourself dirty when you're not teaching your apprentice or your someone that's been working for you for 5 years how to price work properly. So there's two things that I would say about that there. The first would be, if you're worried about this person taking your work, then you're not that good of a plaster. If you're at it 15-20 years and you're worried about a guy that's just finished his apprenticeship coming in and stealing your work, you're not a good plaster. If that's something that worries you, you're just not a good plaster. It's as simple as that. I would have no worries of telling an apprentice that worked for me how to price work, because he's not going to come and undercut me. He's not going to cut my throat. The work that I'll be going for and the work that he'll be going for, it's not going to be the same thing, and it's just as simple as that. And then the second thing is you're what you're doing to that apprentice is you're giving them all the skills to become a great plaster, except for the most important one, and that's hard to get paid. And that leads to a few different issues, but the main one being is that these young guys aren't getting showed how to price work. They're then going out into the world, they're pricing work themselves, they're undercutting everybody, and we're all suffering because there's a young buck that's out there just trying to get experience, trying to get pictures for his website or his social media, and he's going in at £100 a day, and he's going in, he's doing the work, and he's okay, he's not brilliant, but his work's possible because that's the way you taught him, and he's cutting all our throats, and it's your fault for not teaching him how to price work correctly. The reason that he's ruining it for everybody, he's making, and it's, for whatever reason, it only seems to be the plasters that this happens with. It's like a race to the bottom, everybody cutting their own throats, undercutting. Like a lot of the time, whether it's right or wrong, I'll get clients that say, oh, I've had a plaster that's quoted me such and such, money to do this same job. And my response will always be, that's very good. Go you get them ones to do it then, because my price is my price and that's it. I'll never undercut another man. Never ever will I do it. I won't even match a price. My price is my price and that's it. If you're allowing your apprentice to guess how the price work, that's what's going to happen. So then we're going to talk about the mentality for pricing work. So there's like obviously a few different ways the plasters get paid. There's a few of them that you have no control over. So if you're working on price or on time on site, you have no control over your pay. They tell you how much you earn, and then you can ask for a raise, stuff like that there, but it doesn't usually happen. Or when you're on site, you're on price. The price is the price and that's it. And the only way you can make more money is to do more work, and then you run into that trap of running yourself into the ground for more money. So you can't choose your price on site at all. The price is what they tell you it is, and then you have to try to make the best of it. Where you can name your prices in private work. Private work is more difficult work, without a shadow of a doubt. Going in and skimming out a house is easy when it's all plasterboard, or going in and rendering and then skimming in a house. It's easy because it's all fresh, nice, clean, straight, plumb walls, and everything about it is easy. When you go in to do private work, there's nothing easy about private work. There isn't a straight wall. Most of these houses were built pre-war. You have to worry about things like the stamper. You have to worry about going over the top of lame renders. You have to worry about the render below being bossed. There is a list and length in your arm. You're using materials that you would never use on site, likes of PVA, SBR, all this sort of stuff that's not really commonly used on sites. And you know, so it's a lot harder, but the money is a lot better. So because there is so many variables, when you're doing private work, your best bet is to price it in a very specific way, which I'm going to explain to you. There are people out there that will price private work. They'll price private work per square meter, right? And there is an issue with pricing it per square meter, which we'll go into shortly. But when you're pricing square meter, you're doing yourself out of money, basically. If, for talk's sake, you come to price a job and you say, okay, this wall needs a reskim, okay? You give them the price for the reskim, and then it's in square meters, okay? So you've priced the reskim in square meters. You come back, tell the job, and this happens often because standing looking at a wall isn't going to give you an idea what the sub structure, the sub base, any of that. It's not going to give you an idea. It's only when you start working on the wall you'll realize that there's other stuff going on. So say if you come back and you start the PVA that wall, and it does happen sometimes, and the wall starts to crumble. So now you keep in mind you've already given this price to reskim, and that's fine. Large chunks of the wall starts coming off, and then you think to yourself, right, well, so now I'm going to need to do a bit of bonding here. So you've added another 2 hours, and then the price of the bonding till and probably a drop of cement to your price. So you go back to the client and you tell them, after you've done all this extra added work, by the way, this is going to be an extra 70 quid because I've had to do this. They'll tell you to sling your hook, and that's basically what it is. So you're going to have to go to the client as it happens and say, okay, look, this has happened, I'm going to need to charge you this much more, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the time it leaves you in a bad situation. And most of the time when you're doing that, you're going to absorb the cost of anything that goes wrong. and as I say, in private work, it does happen all the time. So pricing it per square meter is not the best. You can do it if you're charging a square meter and it's all nice decent stuff that you're skimming. That's all well and good. No, happy days. You have to be very specific in the work that you choose to do, to make sure that you get paid well from it. The other method would be is price per day. So it's the way that I do it. I feel like it's the best. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll look at a job. So say for talk's sake, it's a room, a small bedroom in a pre-war, 2 up, 2 down. Okay, so when I go in, I'll look and I'll say, okay, so I know that this room's going to take me a day to skim this room. Okay, and then I'm gonna say to myself, I have the amount of money I charge for a day, so that's my starting point. Okay, and then I'll ask myself the question, what can go wrong here? So I'll say there's a possibility that it becomes boast. I'm going to have to take this bit off, do that bit, right? I'll allow another, certain amount of money for labour, and I'll add that to my basic daily rate, okay? So now we've got this cost with our day's pay, and then an extra few quid just in case we have to do something else, okay? So then I'll get the price for the material. So I'll have a look, I'll see, okay, this is going to need 6 bags of skim, so 6 skim PVA, blah blah blah, count it all up, and I'm going to get this price, and I'm going to add it to this price. So now over here I've got the price for my materials, for stuff to go wrong, and my day's pay. Then I've got my other, which what I call miscellaneous. So my public liability insurance, my fan insurance, maintenance on the fan, fuel, sort of wear and tear on tools, all this sort of stuff. So there's a small percentage of money towards all that sort of stuff. We'll put that together, and then the last thing will be a delivery charge for materials. So if I'm bringing materials to your job, to the job that I'm doing for you, you're going to pay me to deliver them. You wouldn't ring up a builder's merchant and say, I want a pallet of skim, and then expect for them not to charge you to deliver it. So why should me as a plasterer not charge for that time and labour, basically? Because you're loading the stuff into your van, you're driving it about, and then you're unloading it. It's labour, and it's just as simple as that. It's costing you fuel money, whatever. So we'll add that until the price. So this is your price now. It's, for talk's sake, a sort of small to medium bedroom, what I've just described there, I would charge roughly £550. Obviously there's going to be some things that sort of differ there, but that would be my rough cost. So I'll give that as an all-in-one cost for the job. It's the best way to do it, and there's no shadow of a doubt. If you're doing it any other way, you're going to be losing yourself money. It's just as simple as that. Now, doing it this way isn't going to cover you for everything that has a possibility for going wrong. You could get to the job and every bit of render has to come off the wall. Then that's a different thing altogether, because that's not something that you would usually expect from having the reskim. Would be like have the re-render and then reskim. But that's honestly the best way to do it. And then we'll get into clients and managing expectations of clients. So a lot of the time when I go to price a job, and not so much when I'm just skimming, like if I'm going for a room reskim or whatever, I wouldn't really do it too much then. But when I'm doing stuff like warm wall systems, installing warm wall systems, insulated plasterboard, fitting insulation, all this sort of other stuff, I would give, while I'm there with the client, I'll give a ballpark figure. And what I usually do there is, the reason that I do it is because, so for talk's sake, I'd done a warm wall there not that long ago. It was like 3 or 4 walls, and I charged £3,500. If I get till this person's house and I see, right, this needs done, and I tell them, this will probably be between the range of £1,000 and £4,000. I'll give you an exact price. There's no point going till, and it's going to sound a bit stupid, like, but there's no point going till like a council estate where the people rent the house from the housing executive. You're not going to go in and price that whole job for warm wall insulation. Tell them 3.5-4 grand. It's not likely to happen. So to save yourself the hassle of doing out a full quotation, you give them a ballpark figure. Not small enough where they can hold you to the ballpark, but you want it to be big enough where you're somewhere in the middle, and that's what I usually do. And I do it with every client. When we're talking about sort of money over £1,000, I would give sort of a ballpark on the day, and then go out and give a full written quotation. And yeah, so that's the best way to do that. So then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was being clear when you're, so after you've done your quote, you're happy with it, you send it to the client. When you send it to your client, you have to set out all the parameters that you're going to work within. So for talk's sake, when I send a price to a person, I'll say in the message, I'll send a message, I'll send a written quotation, but I'll also send a message. We'll read something like, okay, to install a warm wall system on these 2 walls will be, X amount of money. This price will include labour, materials, and is good for a set amount of time. So what I do is 30 days. The reason that I do that is because if I give someone a quote and they come back to me a half a year later and the material prices have all went up, it's not realistic, the stand of your first quote. So you give yourself that out in your quotation, that it's only good for 30 days. Other things that I would be very specific about when doing quotations would be, like, if you're going to be taking off skirting boards, the skims flat to the floor, being specific and saying that you're not going to be putting them back on if you're not going to put them back on. Another thing that I'll do is I'll specify that if the radiators aren't took off, that we can only go 4 inches behind the radiator. That's something that I'm very specific with as well. I also put in that I'll screw off lay fittings and sockets and cover them up, but won't screw them back on. And sort of small stuff like that. And what that does is it makes it very clear what it is that they're paying you for, and it saves any arguments over money at the end. So if you weren't to write all of that down and the client came back to you when you've come to collect the money at the end of the day, and the client comes back to you and says, I'm going to actually hold some of your money because you haven't put the skirting board back on, you haven't screwed the sockets back on, you haven't, then you're either going to have to do that to get your money, or you're going to have to lose the percentage of money they're holding on you, and it's not a good idea to be screwing off a plug's okay, but screwing back on a plug, I wouldn't do it. Just sort of health and safety. And then skirting boards, I don't like dealing with woodwork at all, so I'll not do skirting boards. But I hope that gives you, this wasn't too rambly, and that sort of gives you an insight in my thinking when I'm pricing work. Absolutely don't undercut yourself. If you think a job's gonna take you a half a day, take a full day's pay for it, no matter what. If I'm going to do like a patch in a house, say even if it's like a foot by a foot, if I'm going to do that patch, I have to get up, I have to get ready, I have to go out to work, I have to go to the builder's yard to collect the materials, I have to drive to the job, I have to cover all the floors, I have to fix the patch, and then I have to clean up. Most of the time you're finished for maybe 11, half 11, 12, something like that there, but half your day is gone. And when you're doing private work, if you're going to think to yourself, oh well, that day I'm going to fit 2 jobs in, so that's okay, you can make your full money up and not charge a full day's pay. But you think to yourself, unless them jobs are really close to each other, you're really limiting yourself to probably having to work late. And honestly, it's not worth it. So I have a minimum charge, which is my day's pay. If I'm going to patch anything, the best. And the best thing about doing it this way is that, like, if you do get a small job that only takes you half a day, but you can't find anything else to fill that other half, you're at least getting yourself a day's pay. You're not paying all the other stuff, but you're at least getting yourself a full day's pay. And I think doing it any other way than that's just silly. Value yourself and your time, and make sure you don't undercharge. Let's pretend we're plumbers or we're electricians and overcut each other. Know what I mean? If someone says I got to price this much, then price over it, or don't lower your price, because it's not a race to the bottom, and it's just as simple as that. And everything that I just said too, for a homeowner that's expecting expecting a plasterer to come and work for them, keep in mind that this is somebody that has spent at the very least 5 years learning how to do this, has more knowledge about this specific thing than you do, and it's not something that you can do most people can do themselves. And even if you can't do it, it's not going to look good. And even if it looks good, you're not guaranteed that it's going to be. So it's one of them things. Respect us, because we put in as much time as any other trade. Our trade is the hardest, without a shadow of a doubt. The only other trade that would be as hard would be brickies, but they're paid decent money. So I don't really care about them ones. But yeah, just treat all tradesmen with respect, but definitely the plasters, because we've the hardest job. As you can see, it's the dirtiest and we're the worst paid. So but that's, I'm rambling again. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, have a wee look in the description below. You'll find all my links, affiliate links to Amazon, the tools that I use from day to day. Go and have a look, buy something, I get a small percentage. Go and have a look at the Patreon, where we post extra content. A buy me coffee link, and then all my social medias. If you want to chat, if you want to talk to me, you can get in contact on one of them social medias: Instagram, Facebook. We're on TikTok also. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, hit the bell, all the YouTube stuff. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.